Bring in MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin and MS Now legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Paul Butler. Lisa, bring us the details of this addendum to the settlement agreement we just got from Todd Blanche.
So, Anna, it's a one-paragraph addendum, but boy, does it accomplish a lot in that one paragraph, forever barring the defendants to the prior lawsuit brought by President Trump, who are the IRS and the Treasury Department, from bringing any claim or any action against him whatsoever that essentially could have been raised prior to May 18th, 2026. And of course, it doesn't just apply to President Trump himself, but to both of his sons who are plaintiffs in those lawsuits, as well as any affiliated companies, trusts that were affiliated with them, sister companies, it says. So it is essentially a broad carve out that immunizes him effectively against any lawsuit, criminal or civil, that could have been brought in relation to his tax liability as of any liability he could have had as of May 18th. Someone asked me, does this bar the IRS from suing him in the future? And the answer to that question is yes and no. The IRS cannot now, in the future, sue the Trumps for any liability they would have had or could have had as of May 18th. Does it bar them from seeking audits of him or liability from him with respect to anything he does in the future, meaning any future liability that he accumulates? No, but this is basically as broad of a settlement as one could possibly construct between the president, his affiliates, and the Treasury Department and the IRS.
I mean, Paul, every other American has to pay their fair share of taxes and has to be accountable for doing so. Why shouldn't the president? Why shouldn't his family? Have you ever seen a settlement deal like this?
We've never had a situation like this. So essentially, the president is suing himself. The president is suing the IRS, which he controls. The IRS is being defended by the Department of Justice, who he controls. And this settlement agreement is so broad, we're not even sure where it ends. For example, it could be a preemptive pardon for Trump for any crime that he committed before yesterday, including as a private person, because it doesn't only apply to the IRS, it applies to all federal departments and agencies. On it yesterday, Todd Blanche tried to defend the settlement agreement by saying, well, Trump's not getting paid. But the New York Times says that he might be on the line for $100 million in tax liability, and now he's getting off scot-free.
So $100 million could have been what he would have owed otherwise. The document says forever on it. The United States releases, waives, acquits, and forever discharges the plaintiffs from, and it goes on, talking about specifically pending tax matters. But the DOJ said in a statement that, again, this only applies to existing audits, not future examinations. Is that clear, Paul?
Well, it's clear from the announcement of the agreement that was made by DOJ. There are parts of the actual settlement agreement that are in tension with some of the things that Todd Blanche has said about it, including that the president himself and his family members won't benefit from this fund. Todd Blanche said that, but that's not formally a part of the agreement.
And Lisa, are there any mechanisms for this to be challenged?
It's a really hard question to answer. I'm assuming you're asking about just the part of this that pertains to this immunization by the United States. I don't. Anna, it's a really tough call. Who would even have standing to challenge this? Our colleague Andrew Weissman was on Morning Joe yesterday morning, and he was talking about the fact that this legal concept of standing, which Paul and I understand to be who is injured here, who is actually injured, doesn't apply to taxpayers. So if you see something happening out in the public domain and you say, I'm injured by this because I'm a citizen of the United States and I pay taxes, that's not enough to cross the threshold to get you into federal court to challenge it. It has to be something more than that. And what's unclear to me is who even would have what's considered the legally requisite injury to be able to walk into a federal court and sustain a lawsuit against this settlement. And of course, that's by design. They purposely dismissed that underlying lawsuit that Trump had brought against the IRS to deprive the judge of ongoing jurisdiction over the terms of that larger settlement as well as this addendum.
And of course, we're all looking for more details and sort of defined parameters around who could get access to these funds of this anti-weaponization fund that the DOJ is establishing as part of this settlement. Todd Blanche was on the Hill yesterday answering a lot of questions about this, but without giving much substance. Let's take a listen.
It is true that this is unusual. That is true. But it is not unprecedented. It's not limited to Republicans. It's not limited to Biden.
That was.
It's not limited to the Biden weaponization.
Will you agree to encourage those commissioners to set a guideline that compensation will not go to individuals who are convicted of assaulting police officers?
I expect
Just a yes would answer my question, or a no.
A yes will not answer that question. I mean, you're asking whether I will encourage. I don't think that's a fair word. I don't think it's the Attorney General's job to encourage commissioners to do or not do anything.
Lisa, you have some new reporting that there are now developments, people challenging this fund.
Absolutely. And we have our colleague Fallon Gallagher has reported that this morning, 2 Capitol Police officers, Harry Dunn and Daniel Hodges, have sued in D.C. federal court challenging the establishment of the fund on the basis of a variety of different statutory provisions, including the Administrative Procedures Act, but also saying that the creation of the fund and the way in which it's been set up violates their 14th Amendment rights because it assumes the debts of insurrectionists. I should also note, Anna, there's a sort of asymmetry going on here between this establishment of the Anti-Weaponization Fund, which will be up and running in 30 days and able to process claims, according to the Attorney General, and the fact that Capitol police officers, Metropolitan police officers, members of Congress who have all alleged that they were physically or psychologically injured on January 6th have been fighting to litigate their claims in a D.C. federal court for more than 5 years right now. President Trump is one of the defendants in that suit, and he has tied up that suit in a variety of motions relating to his claim that he is immune from suit for his official acts. They haven't even been able to obtain discovery in that action through which they're trying to obtain damages from the federal government for the injuries they say they sustained. So on one hand, you've got people like Harry Dunn and Daniel Hodges fighting to have their day in court, whereas the very people that they've sued, some of the defendants in that lawsuit include Oath Keepers, for example, and Proud Boys. Some of those people will be eligible to file claims in this anti-weaponization fund to the extent that its establishment is upheld by a court.
Yeah, I saw yesterday, Blanche didn't rule that out. I know you have thoughts.
Eligible to get paid big time. If the money only goes to January 6th defendants, and it could go to people like Bannon and Giuliani, but if it only goes to January 6th defendants and convicted criminals, and they each get the same amount, they get over $1 million apiece.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us. I actually am told we have Raskin sound I want to toss to. He was just commenting on subpoenaing some people over this new settlement deal. Let's listen.
The $1.8 billion slush fund, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, Associate Attorney General Stanley Woodward, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, IRS Chief Executive Officer Frank Bisignano, and Treasury Department General Counsel Brian Morrissey. Mr. Blanche orchestrated this outrageous slush fund as part of the settlement with Donald Trump, which was also signed by Mr. Woodward, and Mr. Bessent will oversee the payout of these funds. Mr. Bisignano signed off on this settlement for the IRS, and Brian Morrissey remarkably resigned as this deal was being announced. These individuals all possess critical insights into Trump's self-dealing scheme with his own agencies to create this fund and reward his supporters and friends. So I move that they be subpoenaed right now.
I second.
The gentleman has not been recognized for that.
Okay, so let's get reaction from Paul.
So Trump controls the panel. He's able to, under the terms, fire any person on it. So it's 5 people. They get to decide who gets the money, but it's really Trump who will be the ultimate decider. The other thing, real quick, is Todd Blanche signed the IRS part of the agreement. He didn't sign the anti-weaponization slush fund.
Just as the other people who signed the other fund didn't end up signing on to the IRS immunity agreement.
Exactly right. So it sure looks like Todd Blanche is auditioning to get the permanent position of being Attorney General, and he's more than even Pam Bondi doing whatever pleases the president to get that job.
All right, guys, gotta leave it there. Gosh, always so much more to discuss. I appreciate you both. Thank you, Lisa Rubin, Paul Butler.